Here's a quote by Albert Einstein, and I quote, "Since the advent of the nuclear age, everything has changed but the way people think. Thus, we drift towards unparalleled catastrophe." So, to change how people think, you must take a profoundly simple and universal element of everyday life, one in which all everyday thinking is rooted, and change it so radically that the way people think will itself dramatically change. So if you want to know that something has really changed, change the calendar. Sounds weird. Not a lot of people are talking about this calendar reform business. What's the calendar got to do with anything? Okay, so what we have here, right, is a macro organizing principle that we take for granted, right? We take the calendar that we use on a daily basis for granted. We write down our appointments on the calendar, things that we have to do during the month. We write it down. I write it down. I write things down on the calendar just to remind me of things that we've got to do. But this has a detrimental effect on our way of thinking. And that is why we are stuck in the way things are in society. We never seem to be able to solve the world's problems because we are mentally trapped in the 12-month irregular, illogical Gregorian calendar. Okay, so this is the meaning of the replacement of the Gregorian calendar by the 13-moon calendar. The calendar change is necessary because as the pragmatic application of the discovery of the law of time, it brings into focus the essence of this discovery. Now listen to this very carefully, it's very important. Time is a frequency, the frequency of synchronization. If a calendar does not increase synchronization, it is not performing its highest function. So this is the fundamental critique of the Gregorian calendar and of all concepts of time based solely on physical, third-dimensional, astronomical measurements. Okay, this discovery is so new and startling that it affects all human thought and is a matter to which all belief systems, religions, and methods of science must be cognizant. Yet nothing, it seems, is more difficult for humanity than to make this change from a manifest disharmony to a manifest harmony. Does this make any sense to you, ladies and gentlemen? The only way that the human race will evolve is by changing the timing standard, shifting on a massive scale our perception of time. And the only way we can do that, ladies and gentlemen, is by changing the calendar. Now, it may seem like a pretty impossible task right now. No government or international institution is going to consciously change the calendar. Therefore, we are on course to unparalleled catastrophe. We have to change the calendar, ladies and gentlemen. Not many people are going to talk about this. You listen to a lot of videos going on about manifestation and manifesting our desires and meditating, which is good, don't get me wrong. All these things are interesting, but nothing is going to fundamentally change. Nothing is going to go back to normal. I hate to be, an alarmist. I don't want to be an alarmist. I just want to bring to attention how important it is to realize the truth. Our perception of time through the Gregorian calendar and the clock is erroneous, and as a result we are destroying the planet. This pandemic is happening for many, many different reasons, and our answer to this problem, the solutions to this problem, are completely and utterly screwed up. Totally screwed up. A lot of people say, oh, but it's a highly infectious virus. What can you do? Other people say this is totally blown out of proportion. Locking down the economy is ridiculous. But if you open it up again, you're going to start the infections again, etc., etc. Nobody is offering radical solutions. Nobody. Very few people. If you go to the Foundation for the Law of Time, they are offering this solution. Calendar reform, radical revolution of time, our perception of time. Ladies and gentlemen, go to the Foundation for the Law of Time. Donate. Take part in their manifestation meditations. Learn about the new calendar, the 13-month, 28-day calendar. Learn about the calendar reform movement. Open your mind. Think outside the box. This video is revolutionary. It is revolutionary because no one is talking about this. Very few people are talking about the great calendar reform movement, the World 13 Moon Calendar Change Peace Movement. Nobody's talking about it. This video is revolutionary. We need to petition the Vatican. We need to petition the United Nations and make it clear to them, if we don't change the calendar and if we don't change the macro organizing principle of the human subconscious programming mind, the subconscious programs that lock us into a tiny box in erroneous time, an irregular, illogical 12-month calendar that is over 500 years old, then we are going to spiral down, ladies and gentlemen. Why do you think the global economy is collapsing? Why do you think the oil market is collapsing? Because of the pandemic? Yes, the pandemic is a part of it, but a tiny fraction, a tiny part of it. Because if it wasn't the pandemic, it would have been something else. Another crisis would have come along and collapsed the global economy, because we're living in an erroneous timing standard. Look it up, ladies and gentlemen. Take the red pill. The human society is collapsing. We have run out of time. We have run out of artificial time. You understand what I'm saying here, ladies and gentlemen? I don't care if I've only got one view, which is probably my wife. I don't care. I am going on record. I am going on record right here and now that we need a radical revolution in time. We need to transform our perception of time. Time is of the essence, ladies and gentlemen. How long can we go on living like this? I pray with all my heart and soul that the masses or a critical number of humans will realize this truth, and that we will change our perception of time before it's too late. And maybe it is already too late, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe we passed the point of no return. Maybe it's just too late, and we're witnessing the beginning of the end of this artificial, mechanized, industrialized, self-destructive system that only benefits the less than 1%. So let's open our minds. Let's think about time in a totally different way. 13 months, 28 days, the female menstruation cycle. Let's change our perception of time. Let's wake up and let's do this together. Change the calendar and you change your mind. Love you with all my heart and soul.